boy got money, Malcolm. Look at that right there.
That's the rich side of the family. I told you that, bro.
Nah, don't do that. This shit, that'll work for all of this. I just don't put my money nowhere else.
Here we go. Welcome to the Big Hammock Podcast, coming to you on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, iHeart. Always check our updates on Facebook, now on TikTok. We have our website, of course, thebighammock.com. Many things going on there. We've got our digital copies, Blu-rays, DVDs. That's what we're here for. We need y'all to purchase those movies. We have our shows on our podcast. We need subscribers. Listen, y'all, we're not making no bones about it. We are trying to get people to buy this movie. We're not trying to get famous off of this movie, are we, Malcolm?
Nope. Ain't trying to get famous.
No. As a matter of fact, a lot of people have been asking, is there going to be a sequel? It's been a common question.
Yeah.
And, we had another previous episode. We had some call-ins. My aunt actually asked the question, is there going to be a sequel? And, we kind of brushed it off to the side and, we didn't turn it down or whatever, but we legitimately have been, could we do it? Would we do it? Would we ruin the first one if we did it? And we were talking after the last episode, and not only were we, and it was just kind of shooting ideas around, but I think we kind of came up to the conclusion between me, you, and Travis that we absolutely could do it.
Yeah.
But Malcolm, you had looked at me and Travis dead in the eye, and you said, only if we sell 100,000 copies.
Yep, that's our goal.
That's our goal. It's not to get famous.
Right.
Because to get famous, we're going to have to sell way more copies than that, right?
right.
And, really, when we look at the number 100,000, it's obtainable, right? Because there's 400,000 people in Marion County. We've talked about that in the podcast already, but that's just 25% of Marion County. And, we could definitely do that, but we're not just stretching, or sticking to Marion County. Obviously, we're going to Morgan County, or, depending on when this episode drops, it might be we've already been to Morgan County. But my point is that, we're not just stopping there. I've got friends from high school that have moved to different states. I've got one that, some that live in Kentucky, one that lives in Washington, D.C. You've got a cousin who we're going to have on the show who did the editing. It was the visual editing.
Yeah, the special effects.
The special effects editing. And it was gunshots and other parts throughout the movie. Colin is his name, and we're going to have him on the show. And he's in Virginia. So, we're not just stopping or sticking to Ocala, so to speak, because it doesn't matter how we get to that 100,000.
Right.
Right? Like we can go, across the United States. Now, again, we could do it on our own here in Ocala. You've gone around selling DVDs. Is it obtainable?
It's obtainable.
It's obtainable.
For sure.
And so, with that being said, we're going to have Colin on the show. Mm-hmm. Colin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And Malcolm's over here. Messing up his stuff.
It's turned down.
Okay.
Oh, is that the soundboard?
Yeah.
I can't hear
Yeah,
you
he's
guys.
got the soundboard up and running. So, Colin, your business name is Colin Lutterlow Visuals.
Yeah.
Okay. And
yep. CL Visuals is easy.
Okay, CL Visuals, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of L's in there. I was telling Malcolm that before we had you on. I said, man, that's a tongue twister there. So how long have you had CL Visuals up and running?
Since about 2018.
Okay.
When I first started photography.
All right. And you do that full time?
I do. Not my own company. I work for a company right now, and then I do my business on the side.
You do your.
The goal is to eventually do it full time, though, like just working for myself. But it's always kind of been a side thing.
And you have your cousin Malcolm take advantage of you. Says, "Hey, cuz,
absolutely,
I need something done," and you're
right.
like, "Yeah, no problem, cuz I got you." How did that go, Colin? Did he? You know what? I'm going to go back to that. Virginia. We're sitting here. We're telling all of our listeners, subscribe, chat, comment, share, tell your friends. I wanted to ask you, Colin, how many of your friends have you told about this movie?
I definitely told my buddy Ryan that I work with on a day-to-day. Like I work with him at my 9 to 5 job, and I was telling him about how I was doing some VFX work. But I feel like the film community in Richmond is kind of small, but so I don't really get to see all of my film family as much as I want to. So I really just probably told Ryan about this project in particular because we're always kind of like freelancing on the side of our 9 to 5 jobs. You know what I mean?
Man, we got some work to
but
do.
yeah, Ryan was aware about it.
We got some work to do with you, Colin, because you had the golden opportunity to say, yeah, all of Richmond knows about this movie. They're ready for it.
Put the pressure on them. Put the pressure on them.
Oh, shit.
But hey, we will come to Richmond if you line something up for us. I don't know, maybe another cousin favor. I don't know.
We have a couple theaters out here, so I have to see. what I
Yeah,
can
check
do,
it
but
out
yeah.
for us. We'll definitely come. You know, we're going to be. These are fun trips.
Yeah.
So we're definitely anything that makes sense. We want to get involved anywhere. So when he calls you up, he says, "Hey, cuz, I need a favor." And did he tell you what all did he tell you about the movie?
Man, I can't remember that first combo too well, but I know it was something along the lines of, I think originally it was just like some editing questions, and then as it developed more and more, it turned into definitely going to need you for some like VFX work to kind of spice it up and make it look a little bit more realistic for the action scenes of the movie. Um, But Malcolm's always just calling me for random questions, whether it be about lenses or cinematography questions or just bouncing ideas off of me. Um, so I can't remember that first initial conversation, but I mean, I was all for it. And as it got more and more developed, yeah, we came up with some ideas for those action scenes in the woods, and he sent a SSD hard drive down to me, and then we were just going back and forth and ended up coming up with some stuff that I hope you guys liked and helped out. So pretty smooth, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that there was the hat with the blood. That was you. There was the one of the gunshots at the end to the forehead. That was you. I don't. Was there? What was some other ones?
And then all the muzzle flashes.
Anytime
you seen a gun get shot,
Yep.
the muzzle flash, he added all that.
Gotcha.
And I will say, bro, that is like one of the main compliments we got after the premiere. Was people was like very, very impressed by the effects of the gun shooting and the blood splat. Like they was expecting it to be way cheesier. So that was pretty cool.
Absolutely. So how long did it take you to work on those scenes that he sent to you?
Probably about 4 to 6 hours between like 1 to 2 days, really. It was pretty straightforward. The action scene wasn't too long, so what he was looking for. I even tried to do more than just the muzzle flashes and the blood splats, but I wasn't able to because at the end of the day, I'm really not like a VFX artist. I'm just kind of familiar with After Effects and Premiere. So I was just trying to really look throughout the whole movie and see where we could add stuff to either spice it up or just make it look more realistic. And it just boiled down to that action scene. So, because I also was gonna try to like have some of the guns like that didn't hit the characters during the fight scene and have like dirt flying up in the background, but I wasn't able to pull that one off. But so yeah, it ended up just being the muzzle flashes, the blood splats, and then I tracked that blood on the dude's forehead at the end for that last shot.
Yeah, it was good. It really was.
Well, that nailed it, right?
Yeah,
Because I feel like without that, it would have been super, super like cheesy the way it happened because he gets shot, and then you just see him drop and fall out, which I think it would have been like whatever, but the fact that you could see the blood.
It was
on the
that little
forehead,
bit of extra
Right,
that,
that
you
little
know,
extra.
really kind of sealed it off. Colin, obviously you've seen the scenes that you edited. Did you have you watched the movie?
Yeah, I watched the movie with my family. We watched it.
Okay,
about a
cool.
week- during the week of release. Yeah.
All right, very cool. So, when you had obviously seen your scenes, what were you expecting before you guys watched it? You just thought you were going to see Bigfoot walking around in the woods the whole time?
Or something, something along that. Because, I mean, he sent me the whole project file, so I did see, like, majority of the movie, but I was kind of just scrubbing through it. I didn't really digest the story and what was going on. Plus, a lot changed later on down the road. Like, I did the VFX scenes pretty early on, and then you guys developed it more and more. So yeah, I didn't really know much of the storyline actually going into it. So, which is good. That's how I wanted to watch it. I didn't want to really know already what was going to be happening. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't really know what I was expecting. I haven't really seen too many Bigfoot movies, but something along the lines of like them creeping in the woods and hearing shit and
So you watched it. Now, you said you watched it with your family.
Right.
Who all was that? Was that your dad and or just
No,
wife
so
and
my-
kids, or I'm sorry, I don't know
so
your
my
marital
dad,
status. What's-
nah, it's all right. My dad watched it with his wife and my little brother, but I was at my mom's house with my two brothers, and one of my brother's girlfriends.
Gotcha.
So
So
it was like 4 or 5 of us.
living room setting, TV.
Right.
Did you have surround sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Little sound bar.
All
Yep.
right. Okay, cool. So you're watching that in the living room. What was the thoughts during the movie, after the movie?
without spoilers.
with no spoilers.
Without spoilers. Okay, so I can't give
We done screwed him up,
I can't give
Malcolm.
specifics.
Just a generic.
I was surprised. So I'm thinking from a cinematographer's standpoint and like how much Malcolm has like learned, you know what I mean, since the beginning of his journey and learning all this stuff, because that's just a guy that takes on a lot of hats, you know what I mean? So it's just challenging with his audio background, but also like directing and you know what I'm saying, just doing multiple things. So I'm judging it from like that aspect, but also the storytelling part of it too. But I mean, nowadays, once you get into film, you can't help but to watch any movie and be like, oh, how did they film that? Or
Right.
yeah, I wonder how they got that shot or how they lit that, or you know what I mean? So all those things are running through my mind, but I was just amazed with the cinematography of it. It looked really good and punchy. Yeah, I like the colors and whatnot.
I'm with
I like
you.
how-
I've
Oh man, I don't know how to do this with sorry, go ahead.
no, I've watched a couple of the I've watched a couple independent films, and I've wondered to myself, man, is ours like that? Are we just looking past our own our own stuff because we know who's in the movie or we know who did it or anything like that? And from what I've heard, it's definitely not. We had good sound, we had good cinematography, we had good edits happening. It's definitely something that I'm impressed with as well. And absolutely from your standpoint and your experience and background and whatever type of edits you're making through the process of your work, to be able to say that, I think that's a big compliment to the movie.
Absolutely.
So it's funny, the other day we had my family on the podcast, and it was Travis and Malcolm were on as well, but they put my cousin and my aunt on the spot, and they asked if there was any funny childhood Zac stories, and I figured what a golden opportunity now. If you could just tell me any type of funny Malcolm stories from when he was a little kid and you guys were growing up cousins. I'm thinking, maybe.
Bro, you're hitting a brick wall on this one. He's young, a lot younger than me. So he ain't gonna really.
There was a big age gap.
Yeah, but you heard some
but no,
stories.
Malcolm actually.
Okay, go ahead, Colin.
Shut up,
No,
Colin.
I was just saying.
Hold on, Colin. I'm with you. You shut up, Malcolm.
Nothing crazy specific, but I did just happen to digitize a bunch of our old mini DV tapes from whenever we were growing up, and I got
Like
to
Christmas
see. I was probably
gatherings?
like 2 years old, 3 years old,
Mhm.
and then Malcolm and a bunch of the Florida family was coming to visit us in Virginia, and it was just a long video of like us doing like a talent show for like our parents and stuff when we were all young and shit. So that was cool to see.
What was Malcolm's
Man,
talent?
like Malcolm's talent, he was kind of directing the whole thing. Funny enough.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Okay, how old was he?
Well, he was like 5, 6, maybe older. What is our gap, Malcolm?
Well, I'm 30.
How old are you?
I'm 36.
And I'm 26, so 10 years.
10
and if I
years.
was 1 or 2, then I don't even know what that math is. But yeah, so
12.
probably like 8 to
Yeah,
10.
yeah, it'd probably be around. Yeah.
But that's cool though.
I need to send you that.
Like here Malcolm is at the talent show. He's directing the whole thing, and then lo and behold, you're directing a movie. and Colin, you can't see Malcolm right now, but he does not. He did not remember that,
No,
and
not
he's
at all.
just like, and it's cool for him to think about that and put that in perspective.
I would definitely like to see that.
Yeah.
I'll send it over. Look, I leave something for my dad to send to you guys, and he don't do it. So I digitized a bunch of stuff that you probably have no
idea.
recollection on. So I'll send that over to you guys for sure.
Dope.
That's cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But I wish I had a funnier story, like going over. I just remember always laughing with Malcolm. He was the funny cousin. You can just let loose, get in a little bit
I
of
didn't
trouble.
realize that you guys were that
Matt.
far away. I mean, I knew that you guys have lived in Virginia. Like it was always a big deal when Uncle Shane came into town. But then the cousins down here, they're all closer in age too. But I didn't realize that you guys were that far apart in age. But it's cool that different perspective that you have, Colin, right? When you're growing up and you see these kids. I'm assuming you're probably a lot better behaved based off of the lessons that your cousins made when you were growing up.
Oh man, nah, bro. He carries that last name Lutterlow, brother. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so he's very well behaved.
Nah, man, we've had some good times though.
Colin,
Yeah, we did.
I want to say it's been fun. Thank you for joining us on the show. It's good to finally see you because I have been wanting to tell you how good of a job you did with those edits that
Thank
you
you.
did. And I literally there's things that I specifically catch those things when I watch the movie, and I'm like, yeah, that was good. So
Yeah, really good job.
so needless to say, thank you, Colin. Thank you for what you did. It's definitely a part of what I would say part of the movie's success.
For sure, 100%.
So I'm proud that your name is at the beginning of the movie at the opening credits, representing what we do. So thank you, Colin.
Absolutely, yeah. And thank y'all for having me on the podcast and for allowing me to collaborate on this for sure. And I hope any future stuff too that you guys do. Like I'm always down to collaborate. Maybe that can be my thing, and I'll try to
Y'all
do
heard
the
him.
VFX work on some of the stuff. So
No takebacks now, cuz. No takebacks
yeah,
now.
absolutely. And before we close this out, I think the last thing that we'll just end with is don't forget to tell your friends, Collins. You got more than just that one that you mentioned. I went to the scrapyard today and gave the guy at the scrapyard weigh station a card. He's like, I was handing him my ID, and my ID still has my beard. He goes, "Oh, you cut your beard?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm thinking, does he remember me from coming to the scrapyard? I was like, "Oh, it's on my driver's license." I was like, "Yeah, I was in a movie and I cut it off. Here's my card."
Perfect.
So, Colin, I'm mentioning that story because there's a lot of sarcasm on this show, and I just want to give you that give you that thing to step up your A game a little bit there. And with
I
that,
got you.
with that being said, we're going to close it out. BigHammock.com, thebighammock.com, one word. Get your Blu-ray, DVD, digital copy, rent it, get your shirts, tell all your friends, subscribe. Let's close it on out, boys.
Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all.